Sorry, rolling sir.
In 3, 2, 1, action.
Hi Sara,
Hello,
always
ma'am.
a pleasure to be able to speak to you. Welcome to T2
Nice to
Telegraph.
finally see you.
Yeah, it's always, I love watching your work, as I've told you in the past. And I watched this film, Ae Watan Mere Watan, and I thought it's such a huge step up for you, just in terms of the character as well as of the role, of the whole setup, and the fact that it's a period film and you've done this so beautifully. Now, I'm not saying that because I'm speaking to you, but I think you've really aced it, so congratulations for that.
Thank you so much.
I just wanted to ask that what was your first, the initial reaction when you heard of this story of Usha Mehta?
When I heard this story or when I was approached to do it? Because when I heard this story, it was like, ye kaun thi? Inki kya kahani thi? When Karan first told me about it, I was just blown away. I was like, wow, what? 22-year-old girl
Yeah.
started an underground, like that's a lot. And just the way in which she did what she did, like I think awestruck was my first impression. Guilt of the ignorance of a history major that prides herself in a degree was the second reaction. And then the third reaction very seamlessly slipped in, which was like, अगर मैं ये play करती तो कर पाती क्या? पता नहीं. And that पता नहीं is the reason that I was like, ये तो अब करना ही है. And then Karan sir and Kannan sir were very convinced that I would pull it off. And the rest is, well, our version of history.
That's very well put. But what do you think it is about, the psyche, the courage, the mental makeup of these, so-called unsung heroes of our freedom movement, of which the character you play is also such an integral part? What is it about them that makes them the people that they are when we look back?
I think there's an spirit. There's an undying spirit that doesn't waver. It's almost like the distinction, if I may say so, it's almost the distinction between like a real person and a freedom fighter. Because उनके अंदर ना एक आग होती है जो वो खुद नहीं बुझा सकते. हम सब में भी एक आग होती है, like as normal ordinary people. I'd like to believe that there's a fire in all of us. But I think what makes these people a little distinct is they are unable to curtail that fire. Even in the face of adversities where we would extinguish our own fire if we had to.
Yeah.
They don't. There's a, like, I don't even have the words to say it. I would say blinders on, but that's too frivolous. I would say conviction, but that's also too frivolous. It's almost like बस यहाँ जाना है और आगे मुझे कुछ नहीं दिख रहा, कुछ है ही नहीं. Genuinely, like whether it's your friends, your family, your parents, your life, your livelihood, everything. Like देश प्रेम से अपने आप को इतना भर लो कि कोई और प्यार के लिए जगह ना रहे. Is what Gandhi ji actually tells Usha in one of my favorite sequences in the film. Just the thought of that, I mean, I don't even think I can fully understand what it means.
Right. Okay. But what was it like, inhabiting the character of this woman during this period? I mean, was there anything about her that felt very familiar or similar to you?
I think her whole life is extremely unfamiliar to me. I think the stakes of the life that she lived is not something that I can mimic, understand, definitely not familiarize myself with. But I think that what I felt, maybe for the first time in my life, is I felt a lot of respect for the character that I was playing. Like, not just gratitude for being able to tell this story or gratitude for being able to, play Usha's character, but just respect for the core of the human being that this character was. And I think that instead of like relate, bahut baar पूछते हैं that how did you relate to this character? More than that, it was how did I aspire to want to be like this character? That was the journey, I think, that was happening.
Which is, a good way to segue into my next question is that did playing this character, do you feel that it has contributed to your craft as an actor, and has it also kind of evolved you as a human being in some way, tangibly, intangibly?
Well, I think when it comes to the craft, that's something that you and my audiences will be able to answer. I don't know what I can say myself, but I can definitely tell you that it's been instrumental in changing me as a human being. I think that that sense of self, sense of pride, sense of, you know, it's not ghamand, it's gurur. There's a difference. My mom always says that. I'm beginning to understand that difference. I'm beginning to feel that difference. I think that, yeah, that's what it is.
Okay. Also, you know, this character I thought is distinguished by the fact that she's a very fiery young woman, right? But there's a lot of what we would call tehrav also in her. What was the key to kind of achieve? I'm sure a lot of it must have been in the writing, but from your perspective as an actor, what was the key to achieving that balance?
Did you feel that there was tehrav in the performance?
I did feel, I don't know whether you...
no, I'm asking if you felt that way.
I felt that way.
So, I personally feel that the only way to achieve tehrav, and I don't know enough to be able to necessarily answer as an actor, but as a human being is what I'm saying, that kabhi bhi agar tehrav aapko hasil karna ho na, I feel genuine conviction is very important. So the minute Sara, or actually Sara, is convinced of Usha's motivations in a particular scene and truly convinced, like to the core, you might see tehrav, because tehrav in my understanding is the lack of extra gymnastics happening. That's what it is. कि मतलब मुझे अपनी बात पर इतना भरोसा है कि ना मैं चिल्ला रही हूँ, ना मैं चीख रही हूँ, ना मेरे फेस पे पता नहीं तांडव हो रहा है, नहीं हो रहा है, क्योंकि ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ रही. So if you found tehrav, which is a big compliment, then this is probably the reason.
Yeah, I love that answer. Okay. Also, you know, actors obviously say that, you know, hair, makeup, costumes, all of that kind of adds to you slipping into the character. This was a character where, you know, your whole...
You're devoid of any glamour almost.
Devoid of any glamour, and yet you have to, you know, it's the kind of an outfit that you probably haven't worn before on screen. There's that chota bindi, there's that all of that. How much did that kind of also help you to get into being Usha?
A lot, I think. I think a lot, because there's something about that material also of khadi, you know, there's just the way it feels on you is different. Of course, hair, makeup is important, but even the production design, like the physical radio, the flag, the charkha, the costumes of not just me but everybody around me, it made the world as palpable and real as we could. And I think that was important. And I think maybe on a very subconscious level, when you are not overtly glamorous, you're not even relying on like, okay, this is a crutch. No, there's no possibility only. And in life, I've always noticed, that when there is no possibility, that's when magic happens, I feel.
Right. But on the reverse, is that also sometimes, does that bring about a certain bit of iffiness or insecurity or vulnerability if you don't have these crutches to rely on?
I think those crutches can take away sometimes. So I don't really think so. Like I remember, you know, in Atrangi Re, final checks for a very long time. Of course, Chaka Chak was a commercially well shot song, so that's different. And we really tried our bit there. But there were moments where Anand ji used to just be like, "Baal ko aise kar. Tu rickshe mein thi, आधा घंटा ऐसे लग नहीं रहा." So, like I have worked with, you know, even with Gattu sir in Kedarnath, for instance. So we have worked, I think, I have been lucky enough to work with makers that want to capture the being of the person. And if glamour or hair makeup helps that, then great. But when it's not needed, it's just not needed. Like it wasn't here.
Right, okay. Also, you know, there is, I think, a line in the film, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit to just get the gist of it, where I think you know, there's a disagreement between you and your father about what your principles are. And then you tell your friend ki sahi hona, you know, it brings about a lot of dard also. You know, it's
sahi hone ka dam dard se chukana padta.
Yeah. Is that something that you also kind of, you know, believe in or have experienced yourself in life?
So there's also a segment, I think, in the film where Imran's character and my character are kind of having a conversation, and he tries to tell you about the difference between sahi, satya and sacha.
Right.
And I think the question that you're asking me, I don't know if I'm equipped to answer that, because जब बहुत बार actually सही होने का दाम दर्द से चुकाना ही पड़ता है, लेकिन to really feel that way, you have to have the desire to be so sahi that the dard you can take on. आज की तारीख में मुझे पता नहीं कितने लोग ऐसा कर पाते हैं, क्योंकि उस डर को लेकर या उस डर की वजह से शायद वो अपने सहीपन को रोक देते हैं,
हाँ,
सीमित कर देते हैं कि ये इतना तक ठीक है, ये बोल दूंगी बिकॉज इट्स द राइट थिंग टू डू, तो सही चीज़ बोल दूंगी, लेकिन पूरा मतलब एब्सोल्युटली पवित्र सही चीज़ शायद नहीं बोलूँगी, क्योंकि फिर अरे वो हर्ट हो जाएगा बंदा. टू नॉट इवन थिंक लाइक दैट एंड बी लाइक नहीं, जो सत्य है वो सत्य है, फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता. आई डोंट नो इफ आई have the strength to do that all the time. It's definitely the goal, the aspiration, but it is tricky.
Right.
You know?
Okay. Also, you know, to have back-to-back releases literally across 2 Fridays, is that a good place to be in, or does it kind of also get overwhelming?
It's the best place. It's the best place to be. I love what I do. I'm grateful to be given the opportunities that I am. To be able to come to you with a film like Murder Mubarak and Ae Watan Mere Watan a week apart, I get to go home and tell myself that, Sara, you've tried your hand at versatility. You've done it honestly, and the rest is not in your hands. And that gives me a sense of like peace, which is all I'm really looking for.
Okay. But is this, I won't call it detachment, you just said peace, but is this a phase that you've kind of evolved to, or was it there always?
All 100%. It was not there. It was not there. But the interesting and tricky thing is that somewhere I feel before Kedarnath it was there. Or maybe during Kedarnath it was there. I don't know if it was naivety. I don't know if it was, I don't know what it was. But now it's back.
Okay. Okay. Also, I just wanted to know that, you know, these are streaming releases. And while, you know, there is always that whole high of having a film release in theatres and the whole box office thing, on streaming the good thing is that a lot more people in various countries would watch it and also give you instant feedback because of the age of social media. How do you kind of react to the fact that you've had quite a few releases on streaming, and how do you kind of, you know, have you made peace with it? That's not the right word, but
I don't know whether that is the right word, but for me, for instance, Zara Hatke Zara Bachke was a theatrical success. Atrangire was given a lot of love on a streaming platform, and they both gave me confidence. They both gave me joy. They both gave me certain degree of validation. So I think as long as आपका काम अच्छा और सच्चा हो, आपको फल मिल जाएगा. That's what I think is most important. The rest, I mean, it's not in my hands. What can I even do?
Yeah, true.
I can tell honest and good stories, and of course there is the added advantage of, you know, more viewership maybe on a streaming platform, and I'm even more grateful for that.
Right. Also, how have you seen the nature and the variety, the diversity of offers and the opportunity kind of change and evolve over the last couple of years since?
Quite a lot.
You know, 3-4 years.
Quite
maybe.
a lot. I think that, you know, to be able to play Bambi and Usha back to back is just a testament of that for me. I mean, मेरी अपनी ज़िंदगी में if I'm being given these opportunities, then I'm just grateful and I hope that I can keep this up. You know, ऐसा नहीं है कि बस हो गया तो हो गया, बस और करना है, फिर से Bambi करना है, फिर से उषा करना है, अलग करना है, बेहतर करना है.
Right. Okay. But is this everything that you had? Of course, it's early years, but is this everything that you had ever wished for? That Sara, who would probably dance with the churidar, with the dupatta in front of the mirror and stuff. I've seen all of that, you know, the videos and stuff. Is this everything that you'd ever wished for? Would you say that you're living the dream?
Honestly, yes. Honestly, yes. And I actually think I have been for a while without realizing it. So I'm happy to finally be awake to appreciate the dream, as contradictory as it sounds. I'm really grateful for being able to do what I do.
Right. Also, Sara, every time, you know, people kind of, you know, we see your social media, we see your interviews, you always come across, for want of a better word, very real in a world or in a profession that is quite hyper real in certain ways. Is that been a difficult tightrope to walk on?
No. It's been the only rope I've known, which is Amrita Singh. तो जब आप कोशिश कर लो नखरे लेकर घर जाने की कि oh I'm so tired, I'm so busy, I had such a long day. So it's your job, na? You like your job, you're grateful for it, you're eating dal chawal because of it. Shut up. That's where we come from. With a lot of love, with a lot of celebration, with the correct mirror of babe, you were not good, or you know what, Sara, I think Ae Watan is your best performance. When your mom says that to you, it means something because she doesn't encourage any drama also. So it's very real. The tareef is real, the stabilizing is real, the grounding is real. And it's the only way we know how, I think.
She's always been your reality check.
150%. अरे स्कूल की बात थी, मैं हम पैदाइशी स्मार्ट हूँ लेकिन पैदाइशी बदमाश भी हूँ. तो स्कूल में बोलते थे कि यार इसके ग्रेड्स बड़े अच्छे आते हैं लेकिन शी इज़ नॉट अ वेल बिहेव्ड पर्सन. एंड माई मदर यूज्ड टू से आई डोंट केयर अबाउट योर ग्रेड्स. What are you going to do? You think you're going to do, but you might not. Like, if you enjoy studying, great. But person तो तुम्हें बनना ही है. Bad behavior I will not tolerate. That's when I realized that यार ये तो मुश्किल होगा. क्योंकि अपने पढ़ाई के भरोसे में ऐसे टोपी नहीं मार सकती सबको. So that's when I was like, okay. So now I try to behave a little better. I'm joking, I don't, but still.
Okay, one last question is that what is that one trait from each of your parents that you have, that you're proud to have, and one that you've worked towards having or are still working towards having?
I'm working towards having the purity of my mom's soul. I think the reason she can so easily rely on her instincts is because she's a good person. And I want to be able to get there. What do I have from my mom? I think to a certain degree a sense of being original and true to who we are, as opposed to भेड़ चाल में नहीं पड़ते, मतलब ऐसे ही हैं तो ऐसे ही हैं. That's there, I think, and I think I get it from her. With my father, I think that my father has shown, which is something one doesn't talk about anymore because he's been, you know, such a good and celebrated actor for so many years that we can forget that there was a period of time where he gave like more than 10 flops.
Yeah.
So I think that the perseverance, the resilience and the need and desire and ability to constantly grow, that's something I want from my father. He's always better than he was. And something I think I have from my father is eclectic hobbies, interests, tastes, curiosity, सब जानना है. तो ये माँ की शांति और फादर के सब जानना है के बीच में ही मैं बस पड़ी रहती हूँ, but हाँ यही है.
That's a really good personality you have. It's a good mix.
I try.
Thank you so much, Sara. That's my time. And all the best for this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Very nice talking to you.
Same here. Thank you.
Very, very nice talking to you.
Thank you.
May I have some coffee?